Okay, continuing on here, part two. We'll go finish sketch. And now we want to extrude this. So I want to click inside the profile. And we want to go 1/2 of an inch, 0.5. And so there's our part. Now if we look over here in our browser tree, we've got our extrusion and our sketch. But it is, remember, we constrained it with dimensions to the center point, and then it's on the XZ plane. Okay, so the plane and the center point are the parents, if you will, and then this extrusion, the base, is the child, if you can think of it in those ways. Okay. All right. So now we want to add another feature to this. So let's make a little change here first. Let's change over to the wireframe. So I go on the View tab, Visual Style, Wireframe. And let's see, I want to turn off this work plane. Okay, so now I've got just got a wireframe of my model, my object there. So let's go back. We're going to do a 3D sketch on the XY plane. Okay, and so now we've got, you can kind of flip it around there and see when you're in wireframe mode, it gets a little confusing sometimes, so you have to really watch your view cube up here. All right, so now what we're going to draw an arc. We want to choose center point arc. And for the center, I want the origin down here. Okay. And my start point will be out on this line. And the end point will be on this line. Now, it's kind of hard to see those, but we've got 180 degrees, so that's good. And we're going to say OK to that. Flip around here and see it's kind of aligned onto my x-axis, okay? But we're going to have to do a little constraints to it. All right, let's put a dimension to it. And we want 1.75. All right, and now we want to draw a line connecting the two endpoints together. All right, so that's good. But see, now we still say we got one dimension needed because this thing can move. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go with a coincident constraint. We could go coincident constraint center point to the line. That will do it. And see, it adds a constraint right there at the midpoint. And we're fully constrained there. So this is good for us. Now we'll extrude this, but we're going to go symmetrical. And our distance is going to be 2.5. All right, and you notice how it filled in the gaps. It just, extruded out and beyond and joined everything together. Okay. So now we're going to do a cut through this. So we're going to go with a sketch on the front surface right here. And we're going to go with a rectangle. We'll go with a 2-point rectangle. And I'm going to click on that bottom line there and come over here. Now we'll go with some dimensions. My height is going to be 1. My length is going to be 2. And from this end to the origin will be 1. That'll center that up. And we're fully constrained because when we placed this first line, it constrained it onto that axis right across there. Now we want to cut that through. So we'll change over to cut, change distance to all. All right, now we've cut it out. Okay, so now we're going to do one more sketch, and then we'll do some other stuff here to show you. So I'm going to put a sketch on the top surface of that rectangular cut. And I'm going to flip up to the bottom, and I'm going to go circle, circle center point, and I want to constrain it on the center point of my origin. So I'm looking for that green dot. Bring it out. Okay. Whoa, where'd it go? All right, let me draw it again. I clicked OK without giving it a size. And so I want a diameter of 0.25 inches. Okay, and then we want to extrude that in a cut all the way through. And so now we've got a hole on it. So let's switch back over to our 3D, or our solid mode, shaded. You can see what we've got there. Okay, now I want to rename some of these features over here because some of the things that we're going to do right here. So we're going to rename this one to base. Oh. Getting a little trouble here getting it to click right. Main body. Clicking it too fast. Rectangular. Rectangular cut. And hole. All right. And so now then to show you a little bit about parent and child relationships, we're going to take this rectangular cut. I'm going to right click and suppress it. And see the hole disappeared because the hole is the child. It's dependent upon that rectangular cut. Now if I want to unsuppress the hole, it brings the cut back because the child, the hole, is dependent upon the parent or the rectangular cut. Okay, and let's see, we can let's do a little editing here. So let's go show dimensions on the rectangular cut, and let's change our height 0.75. And let's see, I'm gonna have to go update. All right, and so change that. But you notice this hole still comes down with it because it's dependent upon the top surface of that feature. Okay, now let's undo that so we get back to our 1 inch, height there. Okay, and let's save our file here before we go much further. Save it as U bracket, and yours is going to go in your folder where you're working. I'm going to put mine on the desktop here. U bracket. And I'll pause the video, and then we'll pick up with the next one.